Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Money Making Monday. You already know it's my favorite day of the week. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very, very special announcement. We are announcing the winner of the $10,000 ACA challenge. So, pretty excited about that. Just gonna give it a few more seconds so everybody can log in. And do me a favor, if you can hear me okay, can you just comment below? That way I know that you can hear me. Just drop a comment if you can hear me, and comment also where you're from. Where you're watching today's Money Making Monday call. So do that. I'm going to give it a few more seconds, and then we're going to get started. Like I said, pretty excited. So I see here, yes, clicking the link above or below, it should say StreamYard, and then that way I can see your name and your profile picture. Jesse, how's it going, buddy? Good seeing you here. Always good seeing you. Let me put you there. You go. Can hear you. What's going on, buddy? Good seeing you. Definitely. Having a hard time pronouncing your name, but I will say that is Zishan. Zishan. Good seeing you here, buddy. My people from LinkedIn. Where's my people from YouTube? Everybody that's watching from YouTube. All right, let's give it a few more minutes and then we're going to get going. Morning. Hear you well. Perfect. All right. Let me do this. Let me share this. Morning. Hear you well. Okay. One more second. We should be good to go. Okay, I see it here. Perfect. All right, everybody's in the house. What's up, Carlos? Richard, how's it going? Good morning to you. Hey, Carlos, how are you? Good morning, Andrews. YouTube is nicer to watch. I have to agree with you. YouTube is a lot nicer to watch, right? All right, cool. So let's get going. So some of you know, may not know, we do this call every Monday. It's our Money Making Monday calls. Mostly we talk about paper calls and ways that you can get into the paper call business, that you can scale your paper call campaigns and make more money doing paper call. So about 4 weeks ago, we had a challenge. It was an ACA challenge. It's a $10,000 challenge to the winner. On top of whatever they generated, we're going to give them $10,000. Today's the day that we announce that winner. But what's interesting is that when we start the challenge, a lot of people join in because they want to win the challenge. They want to win the $10,000. But as the challenge starts and it starts to develop, it's more like a marathon. And then you're just going to start seeing people that keep up with the pace and other people that will just lag behind. And until, somebody just leads the pack and wins the race or the challenge. So in this case, it was a pretty tight race. It wasn't a big difference between the first and second and third place. So it was a really tight competition, and I loved every second of it because it was very interesting to see somebody that is brand new to paper call compete with somebody that already has experience with paper call, and vice versa. So some people, they will say that the challenge is a bit unfair because we let total beginners compete against seasoned guys, and the same way seasoned guys compete against total beginner. And this time around, I do not want to say that it's a total beginner because the person definitely has a vast experience, in digital marketing. But I could say that, the guy's new to paper call, and, he went in and he did his thing and crushed it. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce the winner of the challenge, Pat. How you doing, my man? Welcome and congratulations.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I had no idea that when you messaged me and told me that, I was blown away. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no expectations of winning when I went in. I was just like, I just want to like join the challenge and just learn what I can. And well, I guess here it is.
Let me ask you a question, right?
Yeah.
Let's take it back. How did you find out about the challenge?
Well, I originally saw one of your ads hit my news feed about pay per call, and I think I got in on like the credit repair stuff, and so I've been kind of
Okay.
messing around with the credit repair stuff. Got in on your credit repair course, and kind of have been messing with credit repair a little bit. Got sidetracked a little, but then I saw like one of the posts in the group that you were starting the challenge. I thought, well, this sounds pretty good, so let me just try it out. So
Got it. And what do you think about it, man? What do you think about the whole training, the whole experience, the support team, I guess the whole shebang, right?
yeah, well, I mean, like Clayton and Joe and basically every and Rose and everybody involved, like the team is solid. Like you guys know what you're doing, and it's very helpful. The Slack group is helpful. Find like everybody jumps in, and I know everybody's it's a challenge, so everybody's kind of protecting what they're doing, right? But they're still helpful with, hey, these ideas are working and these concepts are working and stuff like that. So it's definitely it's pretty cool. It's good stuff.
Awesome, man. So I know that Joanne and Clayton, which they're here. I'm gonna bring them in the call now. They had a lot of interaction with you. So let me bring Joanne. Hello, Joanne. Hi, Clayton. Wanted to bring the whole team because definitely I feel like it's a team effort, right? When we do this challenge, it takes a lot of resources that we take away from our day-to-day operation to kind of manage everybody that joined the challenge, which are at different levels. Sometimes you have somebody like yourself that knows about digital marketing and can get up and running fairly quick. And sometimes we have to explain how to buy a domain and set up, DNS records. So it's pretty time consuming. And then when we find somebody that is doing great and is following and executing what they know on top of what we're sharing, we usually tend to provide quite a bit of resource to be able to be there for you, whether it's instant communication, better routing, faster payments. So it's something that we do internally just to make sure that you as a publisher are taken care of, because at the end of the day you can take your business anywhere. We just try our best so we earn your business. And I wanted to take a moment because I have Joanne and Clayton here, and then I'm sure they also have questions, and you also have questions, and everybody watching has questions. But just so we can have an open, conversation about how the challenge goes, how the support was, and everything else. I just noticed that my mic was low. Were you guys able to hear me or no?
Oh yeah, we heard you.
Okay, cool. So I know you spoke a lot with Joanne. So Joanne, tell me, was Patrick like a guy that followed everything and executed and everything?
Patrick, I would say he's very low maintenance. Like he's an action taker. So he really makes it a point to research first before asking a question.
Okay.
So he made use of all the resources that the team provided for him. And one thing I can say, one thing that's really remarkable about Patrick is he's very open when it comes to sharing his best practices in the group. Like I know the mentality of some people would be to protect what I do, right? Not share what I do because it's the scarcity mindset. But Patrick doesn't have that. Patrick has the opposite, abundance mindset. He shares everything that he does best and helps almost everyone, almost every question in the group. He he has already answered for them. So really, really appreciate that.
Cool, man. And Clayton, how was the experience working with Patrick?
I kind of knew. Well, not I can't say I knew Patrick, but I've seen Patrick in other groups before joining ours, and he's the same in those groups as he is in ours. He's always asking questions, so he's not afraid to put those dumb questions out there if anybody is having that inkling in their mind, right?
I'm pretty dumb.
No, you're not.
No. I'm going to recruit you to help me with Technical Tuesdays.
Oh, okay.
I just found out that Patrick, I asked Patrick prior to the call. I should say, I asked Pat. I was like, Pat, so he says, I'm a coder. I write. I'm like, so what do you write? And he said, what I don't write. So I'm like, man, I have to reach out to you because half of the time I'm in, what's it called? Stack Overflow or Overstack?
Yeah. Stack Overflow.
Yeah.
Stack Overflow, just looking for codes that I can use because I can't code, but I can copy and paste.
Yeah.
Code
I'm really good at copy and paste.
Yeah, I'm so far it's been working pretty well for me, copying and pasting codes until I learn how to write them.
Yeah, but like what I was saying, like Patrick's in these groups. I've seen him around for a while, and he's just always asking questions and always out there implementing and getting things done. So once he joined our group, I knew that he was going to I didn't know how well he was going to do, but I knew he was going to do pretty well. And here we go. Just, signing a nice little check over.
Nice. So we have a question here from Edwin Scott. Edwin is asking, is it still worth running the campaign now that the challenge is over? I'm actually not going to answer that. I'm going to let you guys answer that.
I'm at 41% ROI today. So
41% ROI?
Yep.
So that's definitely a hell yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a hell yeah. I think that it is worth running the campaign. I think that once the campaign is giving you the ROI that you want, it's worth running it. Doesn't really matter what campaign it is, as long as you feel comfortable with it. There's some campaigns that just me ethically I will not run. I just don't feel right about them. But if we get past that, I'll be like, yes, I agree that I'm going to run this campaign, and I run it as long as I'm getting the return that I want, which is usually somewhere closer to what Patrick has mentioned. Then yeah, I'll definitely run it. So here says Pat, how much do you make apart from the 10K? How much was your campaign budget? You don't have to answer if you don't want to, but
my
somebody
campaign budgets. I think at one time I had like 20 campaigns and they were doing all like $250 a day.
Okay. Was Facebook spending the whole 250?
No, because I was like I had the rules going from like 8:30 to 3 o'clock or 3:30. And
Okay.
I even tried running like out to like 4 and 4:30, but by the time the ads turn off, they still coast into late in the evening. So
Okay.
and really like extending the time they ran didn't really help. So I just pulled it back to 3 o'clock, and you still get calls all the way up to like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night. Like I get alerts from Ringba that some calls didn't reach the targets. So
Yeah.
people are still calling.
Yeah.
People are messaging my page and stuff over Easter weekend and calling the phone number and stuff.
Do you have any automation in place for those calls that come in after hours, or those no value calls?
I don't have any. So I have it set up so I got a pixel that fires when the call connects or call comes in, and I put them into a high level automation that'll trigger 10 minutes later with a nudge for an SMS. But I only have it running like during business hours, so they'll get that follow up like whenever it's business hours, and it basically says, hey, did you get a chance to connect? And if they didn't, call this number. And then I have a pixel that fires like when the call hits duration, it'll actually remove them from that workflow. So I got two little automations that manage stuff, so I don't blow up a whole bunch of SMS messages.
For real, right?
Yeah.
I messed up before. Like I forgot to put like time schedules in SMS, and I forgot to remove them from sequences. And boy, did I piss a lot of people off sending
That's
text.
what. That's one thing I didn't want. I didn't want to get complaints, right? So
Yeah, sending messages at like, at all kind of hours in the morning.
yeah.
And Pat, you use what software to do all that?
So for the pixels, it's not Zapier. It's a system called Integromat. Everybody or I guess now it's converted to Make.com. So
Yeah, they changed the name. Yeah.
yeah, it's way cheaper. Like you get 10,000 operations a month for like $9. So it's way cheaper, way easier. So I use that for handling the pixels on Ringba, and then I use High Level was what I use for the landing page and for all the automation.
I'm surprised somebody like you that knows how to write code doesn't use Pipe Dream.
It's too much work to. I mean, like High Level is like drag drop automation, man. Like
No, I'm talking about for the integration part, right? You mentioned Integromat, which is
oh,
not.
because Integromat's like is super easy drag and drop as well.
Yeah.
I know how to do the code, but I'm also lazy. So and if High Level is like if Integromat is super easy, it's like, man, that's the way to go.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's nice. Yeah, I've been playing around with Integromat, with obviously Zapier and Pipe Dream for some of the more techie side, like moving consumer data and stuff like that. But it works great. I can't complain about it. As far as how much do you make from aside the 10K, I mean,
And you're okay.
it did okay. It definitely did okay, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep the lights on this month. So
Yeah. But let me ask you something, and this is a yes or no question, right? Again, you don't have to answer if you don't want, but do you make more from selling the calls or from winning the challenge?
let me see, just a second. I
As to
gotta look at my Google sheet. I'm gonna make more running calls. So
Oh, there you go.
yeah.
Great, because there's a lot of people that think that all this is theory and it's actually not practice.
Well,
So
it doesn't take like when you run the ads in the morning, like you can see it, like Facebook start to spend, and you start seeing it going into the red. And I used to panic, and then by about 10 o'clock, if I'm even a little bit green, I know I'm good for the day, right? Because
yeah,
like it only takes a few of those calls, like a couple of $34 calls, man, bang, bang, bang. Like, well, okay, I'm up for the day. I'm good.
yeah, correct. So that's what I keep saying. Like, especially like the first few days, the campaign is like all over the place, right?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't know unless you have like somebody that gives you like this excellent lookalike audience, and even then it's all over the place. The algorithm does not know. It's not fast enough to learn. Like, I mean, it's an algorithm, not a mind reader, right? So, but a lot of people panic, or a lot of people will not just panic, but they will run campaigns and I see this over and over and over again. They will run campaign at very, very small budget, uh, expecting the returns of super high budgets, right?
Yeah.
And what I mean by that, oftentimes I see people that will have one campaign, 12 different assets, 10 different images per asset, and the budget is like $50, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, like, what are we doing here? So, if you're starting in pay per call, like, the tip that I will give you, if you start in somebody that's new, is always keep that in mind, that you should, you should trust in the algorithm to find you the results that you want, right? Keep it broad. Don't go, unless you're running a specific niche, don't go crazy on the targeting. And two, keep in mind that that small budgets are not going to perform as well as larger budgets, because frankly speaking, the algorithm cannot learn much. It's just like you driving a car. I can give you a super nice car. I can give you the nicest Mercedes there is. But if I only give you $5 worth of gas, you're not going to get very far, right? So always keep that in mind, that, if you want your campaign to scale, you're going to have to put more resources into it.
Yeah, I did what you guys said as far as like setting up the campaigns, because I haven't run a lot of CBO before, so I just like this was new for me setting up the CBO. So the one campaign, one ad set, one ad, and then I duped them, as the ones that started working. I duped them, and then I killed, I tried a bunch of different creatives and copy and stuff like that. And like the first week and a half, man, I was in the red pretty good. So, but once I found a couple that started working, I killed everything else and just started duping the ones that won. And that's basically it.
Yeah, it happens to me also when I first started campaign, like for the first week or even 2 weeks, I'm in the red. Sometimes I'm in the red like 10 grand, like nothing. And they just keep going, trying to find that right, that what works. And then once you find what works, the campaign turns around and then like, oops, okay, I'm happy now. So I see a couple other questions here. So let's see. Okay, we have a congrats from DeMarco.
Oh, thank you.
Did you drive traffic to a lander or did you just go straight to calls?
I did neither.
Neither. It's a good one. Shola, she's talking about Ringbot plus high level. That's a good combination there. You have high level connected to your Ringbot account?
No, the only connection I got is like when the pixels inside the Ringbot account, they actually go to Integromat, and then Integromat did the high level connection.
Nice. Richard, make.com. Yeah, so Integromat changed the name to make.com. But for the time being, we're just going to continue calling them Integromat.
Yeah.
It's going to save some time. Not everybody's Facebook that can go Facebook to Meta,
Yeah.
Integromat is going to take some time, so we call it Make. Hey, guys, what's the price per call? So those calls we were paying, I believe, $34 per call on a 90-second duration. Have you heard about Pabbly versus Integromat? I heard about Pabbly, never use it.
Yeah, I got all my stuff is on Integromat, so I got no reason to move right now.
Yeah.
It'd be way too much to move.
Pat, do you use conversion traffic or lead form? Which one performed better?
I was messing with all of those, and I actually ended up using Messenger.
Yeah, so I love using Messenger, and I think if you understand the potential in Messenger, you understand that it can outperform a lot of the other conversion objective. And the reason why I mean that is because Facebook as a platform, think about it. If you own Facebook, do you want people to leave Facebook to go to another website? You don't. It's like if you own a bar, you want people to stay at your bar. You own a hotel, you want people to stay in your hotel. You don't want to send them to somewhere else. So even though they're paying, a click or whatever it is, that user is ultimately leaving Facebook, right, and to something else. So what I mean by that is that when you keep your objective for the person to stay within the Facebook ecosystem, to not leave to another website, that is always going to perform better. The reason why is because Facebook is going to favor that. Facebook is going to favor a messenger destination or a Facebook lead ads destination over, something like traffic to a landing page. And it's just very simple, logical things. So if you run campaigns and you run campaigns with Messenger as your objective, first of all, you can use ManyChat, Go High Level. I mean, there's a whole bunch of software that you can do follow up. I don't know if Go High, and never use Go High Level. I mean, I used it but like a while ago. So I'm not never use it for myself. I've seen it in other people's setups and stuff like that. I don't know if they can do Messenger. Can they do Messenger?
It can do it can do really basic inbox, like replies or wait for reply stuff. It's too slow to do what we need to do. Like
it won't compete with like ManyChat or Flow.
If you type in an answer, it'll sit there and then a response might come in. So like by that time you lost that person. So
got it. So forget that. Stick with like ManyChat or
ManyChat or
Flow and something
ManyChat.
like that. Right? ManyChat, right?
Yeah.
That it's the leading one. Since I read somewhere that somewhere it says that the most known will always win, not the best, something like that. It was like a proverb translated. So I guess the most known is ManyChat and Zapier.
Yeah.
So, anyways, if you send them to Messenger, then you can do a whole bunch of stuff, right? You can get emails, you can get phone numbers, you can send buttons for them to click to call, you can personalize your message. So imagine a landing page, right? When you put a landing page and you send people to landing page, there's really no way to you to personalize that landing page unless besides the basic stuff like location and city, SIP and stuff like that. But as far as like first name, last name and stuff like that, sex, there's no way to do that. In Messenger, you can, right? You can fire in ManyChat, you can fire a webhook with all this information, right? And set up automations and go high level to follow up with text messages, personalize the messages of quick simple surveys like click yes for this, no for that, and boom, you give them the best result. And then on top of that, you can cut down in costs because you can follow up, I believe it's once every 24 hours, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can follow once every 24 hours for free. So
Mhm.
you don't have to pay, like if you're doing like SMS, then you're paying for that text message every time you send that text message. But if you're doing like ManyChat, not only are you paying less because the lead cost is less, or I should say the message conversation is less, but you can also have some added benefits of personalization and follow-ups. So here I got another question. Realistically, what will be a good budget to start with so the algorithm finds a winning audience and ads? I would say that you need to have at least like 2,500 set aside. That would be a good budget to start, right? I don't know how much you start with at the beginning, Patrick, but if you're telling me that you had 10 campaigns running at 250 a day, yeah, that's 2,500.
Yeah, I mean, I started kind of low, and like you said, like trying to spend $50 a day, like between, and because if you think like $50 a day, like on a 24-hour period, like if I'm doing local ads, and I do a lot of local stuff, so that's more than enough. But like when you're going nationwide like that with all the 32 states, and you got to spend it in a certain time frame between 8 and 3 in the afternoon, is not going to spend $50 because Facebook's thinking it's going to have 24 hours to spend it. So you gotta compress it. So that means you got to have more money on it. So So I started doing like 100 and then 150, and I was like, well, this is not going to work. So I'll just bump it up to like 250. So
yeah, just keep bumping it to see if they can spend it.
Yeah, and then once it figures out I can spend it, it's like hold my beer, and it goes.
I see here. Learning a lot from this training. Seems like there is more than one way to get results. Yes, there's a lot. Fire info. There's a lot more than one way to get results. You should try everything out. But just keep in mind what I said, right? That any campaign objective that the user stays in that platform, it's usually going to be a lower cost per acquisition than sending it to somewhere else, right? And not all the time, but usually. Okay. Nash says, hey, Eve Stark, accept renowned affiliate network. How can I be sure that company is not a scam? I'll let Clayton answer that because he's my go-to guy for anything legal and compliance. Clayton, how can you make sure that another company is not a scam?
What he's talking about, or she's talking about, they're talking about.
No, they say except renowned affiliate network.
Yeah, except
like
for
known ones.
known
How can I be
network.
sure that the company is not a scam?
It's ask around. That's one way. Ask your current affiliate manager if you're brave enough to do that. That can also be a good negotiation point. If you're saying, hey, I'm looking at doing business with these guys too. And then if you're sending quality leads, you could probably get a little bit more money per call. But yeah, just asking around and then just send them a few calls and see if they pay out. And if they don't pay out, then they're a scam. I mean, it's not, there's no like formula to it. It's just being in the industry and knowing who the reliable buyers are. If you're talking network wise, if you're talking direct buyers, then that's a completely different game.
Thank you so much. We have another question here, good one. It says, Pat, what was your average cost per lead? Do you find ways to lower it?
Cost per lead was, let's see. Oh, am I in the call still? Nope.
Yeah, you're still in the call.
Oh, okay. I'm saying, wow, look, it just went just like everybody dropped off. So my average cost per, cost per conversation or cost per call was like it's averaging down to about like 950, 960 for each call that comes in. So to get every call is about 950. And then cost per converted call is about $21. And as far as getting that down, it's literally just watching the ads and turning off the stuff that I found like anything under like $3 a result was good, because it took about really to keep the cost down is like just keeping a Google sheet of all the numbers of everything, like all the metrics. So I know it's like it takes me about 3 messages to get a call, and then and so that way I know that like if I'm doing like anywhere under like $3 a message, then I'm gonna be in good shape.
You're muted, Carlos.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's a good one there. You mentioned a Google Sheet, that you keep a Google Sheet to keep track of everything.
Yeah.
Can you talk more about that as far as like what do you keep track of so people?
So I have got the date. So I got like the total. Like I have a column that keeps the total number of calls, and I got the number of calls that come in to like through Ringbus. So every single account, like if I had like multiple buyers in the pool, I keep track of like what calls are going, like how many calls are going to each one, how many are converting for each one. So that way I know the conversion rate for each one of the buyers. So if one is crushing it one day, I'll just turn the campaign on. Like I was like diverting more traffic to the guy that was crushing it more on that particular day. So and so that helps too, because if the calls are paying out and somebody's doing 60% conversions with their call center, well, I'm going to send traffic to that. And if somebody's doing 40%, or if everybody's pretty much even up, I'll just leave the campaigns. So knowing those numbers were good. And then like the total number of like basically with my ad spend, like what I'm spending for the day with all the campaigns together, the total number of messages I was getting or clicks or whatever else. And then basically all of that ties into knowing like what the revenue was that was coming in. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. So like what I spent, like what the current revenue was, and then with that, what the current net is, so if you're green or not for the day. And then the rest of it is like all the percentages, like what's my current ROI, the conversion rate for all of the calls, the cost per call. I had like cost per converted call. I had the number of messages it takes to get a call, and then so that gives me my messenger conversion rate. And then the last 3 columns I had were like basically like each buyer that was buying calls, like their individual conversion rates. So like as many numbers as I can possibly get, so I can look at any time. I can like look at all the data and like, okay, today's going to be good.
Yeah, that seems like, I hope that all that is automated, because that seems like a lot of work.
Well, I'm just like, well, the cool thing is like once Facebook kind of hits its stride, like you don't have to check the ads that often. And my spend is probably not anywhere near like what you guys are spending. So I'm not sweating it all day. Like I can just check in like every half hour or something like that. Just kind of like literally update the sheet, and like all that stuff is formulas. Like once you update like how many calls I got, how many are, converted and all that.
It calculates everything.
It's all formulas.
Quick question. How many times a day do you update your routing plan?
Really not much. It just really kind of depends on like once the call center or the call center start like open up and all that stuff. And it's kind of like every other business I've kind of found out, like everybody's got to sit down and get their coffee and they talk about what they did over the weekend and stuff. So unfortunately, you get a good chunk of calls that don't go answered, like people are just not going to answer the phone. So like, but once it starts kicking in and everybody starts getting busy, then, it starts hitting its stride. So I can tell pretty quick, like who's converting. So I might update the call routing like once or twice a day. I don't want to mess with it too much, because if somebody's converting, I let it go.
Yeah. Sometimes we update the routing plan like hourly. So we're looking at the conversion rate for the past hour for that target. And then we are prioritizing our target and our weight based on the conversion rate of that specific target. Hopefully there will be a feature that it will do that automatically in Ringba.
That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be pretty cool to update based on EPC, and RPC and your revenue per call. So, but for the time being, we do that manually, like every hour or so. We look at for the last hour, and then based on that, we decide for the next hour who should be, on top of the list. If it needs to be done hourly, if not, then it stays the way it is. I have another question here from AR. He's asking, what was the ROI for your call ads? I think he just went over that.
Yeah, I was my average ROI was like, and this is with like Thursday and Friday, like this last Thursday and Friday were really bad. Like Facebook spent a ton of money and like they were real expensive calls. So overall, my ROI has been like my total average so far since like the end of March. Like, so I started tracking the messenger stuff on the 22nd. So ROI was like averages 51%.
That's pretty good. That's really good, actually. And I have here Edwin, with a $3,000 budget, will it be better just to run ads for a couple of states versus going national so the audience is smaller? So it depends on the campaign that you're running and what states are allowed. And let me give you a tip let me give you some advice here. Just because a campaign has all the states, it doesn't mean that you have to run the campaign in all those states. What I mean by that is that once you're running a campaign, like for example, you've been running a campaign for a week, for 2 weeks, you have some data, you have some numbers, some calls, everything else. You should run a report and see where your top revenue is coming from. And then you should focus in those states. Like, for example, if you see that you spend like X amount of money in Wyoming because the campaign is taking calls from Wyoming, but you didn't sell or generate any calls from Wyoming, then remove it from your state list, right? If you see that you spend X amount of money in Florida and you spend the same amount of money in New York, and you see that Florida generated you more money than New York did, then remove New York and focus on that. So what I mean is that you should focus your resources in the states that are performing better for your campaign, okay? Because you can be draining money, you can be losing money advertising in states that are not performing. Shaheem got a question here. Shaheem is, hey Pat, after your leads went through your messenger funnel automation, would they still press to chat with them? And
I was in the bot, you just give them a click to call button. So
right, you didn't chat with the people, right?
No,
I don't think so. Yeah. James, hey Carlos, how are you, my friend James? How you looking? Looking to get started with pay-per-call? Let's do it. Why do you have to update the routing? So you don't have to update the routing. We update the routing to send calls to the call center or the target that is performing best. And by that, we look at conversion rate and we look at RPC, which stands for revenue per call. So we look at revenue per call. How much are we making per call that we're sending to that call center? And then we look at the conversion rate, and that's how we decide what target should be getting most of the volume. If that answers your question. Great. I mean, a whole bunch of good questions being asked here. And you came in there with a curveball because everybody thought that you were running to landing page or something like that. And you're like, wait a second, I went with good old Messenger.
Yep.
Okay, I see how much you made in 1 month during the ACA challenge. I mean, they're going to come at it, bro. They're going to ask you that. Like,
I did okay.
He did okay.
I did better than a 9 to 5.
Okay, let me ask you this question.
And I'm sitting here wearing a t-shirt and sweat shorts. So
at least you're not in boxers.
yeah, well, yeah, at least I'm wearing pants today. So
let me ask you a more serious question. Was it worth it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
That's nice. Like the weather out here in Kansas City is getting real good. And so if the ads, like I was checking ads and stuff like that, and everything's nice and normal and it's nice outside, I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to take my dogs on a walk. And I just go on a nice long walk and come back, check ads, like turn that one off. Okay, I'm good. And I'm going to go to lunch. So,
right.
You know.
So definitely worth it.
Yeah.
I got a question.
You got questions? Go for it.
I got a question. All right. So, Pat, you do local agency stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you find easier to manage, and what do you get more enjoyment out of? Compared to
like the paper call stuff, is probably, well, hands down, absolutely will make more money just because you can scale it and you don't have clients. So, I mean, your clients are basically the people that are buying it. And like Carlos said, if like those guys don't perform, you go somewhere else. So they're it's a better relationship that way. But I do like when I run agency for local, I don't run ads for anybody or anything. I'm just doing basically software as a service. And so since I dive into high levels so much, I set a local business up so I automate their systems, and then I get basically like a monthly from them, but I never hear from them. Like very rarely do I hear from a client. So it's I do like helping local businesses, because especially like post lockdowns and all that other junk, like businesses need a lot of help. And things aren't getting cheaper. Things are getting like there's a lot more that businesses need now than just putting an ad on Craigslist or creating a Facebook page or something like that. So it's more fulfilling and more enjoyable, I think, to kind of help these local businesses and see them succeed and all this stuff. But boy, it sure is nice to have that check hitting the bank, with paper call. So I'm not going to stop doing either, right? I'll just, because if I can scale with paper call, I can certainly take my time with the local business stuff and do more with that. So.
Awesome.
Good question. Good question there. So what, are you ready to fire your agency clients or not yet?
Oh no, they're doing fine. I keep getting money from them every month. So
he's not traditional agency model.
Yeah, I'm not having to run. I don't have to run ads or anything like that. So I don't have people calling me telling me the ads that the leads suck, or why don't I have more calls coming in?
Yeah.
So
I met so many people, right, that join, while they join the program and they start learning pay per call, and a lot of the guys are agency owners themselves. And you see this trend of them, start like getting rid of people, of their clients, like slowly, and start focusing on pay per call. Like you said, right? I like the helping. That's why I guess that's why we share so much about pay per call, and we just show everything that we do so other people can learn as well.
Mhm.
So I guess that's the way of helping. But as far as revenue and business that you can scale, I think that pay per call is performance marketing in general. It's a better business model.
Yeah, for sure.
Would love a messenger training. All right, let's put something together as far as messenger. I'll reach out to Patrick, see if he's interested in sharing some golden nuggets with you guys.
Turn him into a guru.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go.
Woo! Yeah. Stay tuned for my course coming out. No, not doing that.
Not doing that.
Not doing that.
If an ad advertised from a restricted traffic, can the network track it? Yes, the network can track it, of course. I tried to join the Slack group, but I couldn't. Could you send me the link again? Sure thing. Angel Patrick won. Congrats. Woohoo.
Thank you.
How many calls did they generate?
Let's see. What was it?
Angel is smart. Angel is like, I'm not gonna ask him how much he made. I'm just gonna ask him how many calls he did.
So let's see. Total calls from I think total converted was like 548 or something.
Yeah. Awesome.
Something like that.
Pat, are you sticking with ACA ads or will you be selling other calls?
Why not? Like start looking at Medicare when that's ready to go. And
yeah, that's gonna be actually we're right now. So check this out. Right now, the current stage of Medicare is the following. Everybody has calls. Everybody can generate the calls. There's no cap issues because of the restrictions. I mean, Clayton can go into more details about how can somebody qualify for the plan and so on like that. But realistically speaking, until AEP starts again, it's probably a campaign that is worth setting up assets, is worth creating, your creative landing pages and getting ready for it. But, that's going to be closer to September. Yeah. Like right now, sure. Can we generate 10,000 calls a day? We sure can. Not a problem. Can we sell 10,000 calls a day? Absolutely not. Right. So that's the issue with Medicare right now.
I don't know what else is good, like final expense or something, or
final expense is really good. It's a campaign that does very well. So is SSDI, Social Security Disability, does fairly well as well.
okay.
So, auto insurance is a campaign that it will take you some time to crack it. And it definitely needs to be a hybrid of form fills and calls. But if you can do it, that's something that you can run year round, like, except like, Christmas and New Year's and stuff like that. Obviously not. But for the most part, you can run year round. Then in the search verticals, like if you want to go into search like Google and stuff like that, probably the most profitable and the riskiest of them all will be flight. And that comes with its own set of issues. And then you have other stuff like home services that performs really well. Plumbing, mold removal performs really well. And you also have anything in emergency related will perform really well. But we're having a lot of success with dentists, dentists near me. So that's something that we're running, and it's a lot of success. It's a lot of calls of people calling in for, emergency dental services. And the payout for this towards is dynamic, right? So you can make quite a bit depending on where the call is coming from. So I have a question here. Did the issues with the call center affect your conversion and profitability? I'm sure they did. I'll let Pat answer that.
I mean, yeah, just a matter of kind of moving things around a little bit and dialing back some of the ad spend or not running as many campaigns while everything got fixed. And then once it got fixed, it was game on again.
Yeah, for sure. Mass tort training, please. Yeah, we can definitely jump into mass tort and do trainings on it. I just feel that right now we're so much focused on insurance stuff. See another one here. This is from Angel. Is there an offer for dental? Yes, we do have an offer for dental. You can apply there and get going. Dental, just to put it out there, it costs about 50 cents to generate a click. It costs about 50 cents to generate a click for emergency dentist near me for that specific keyword. Or and it costs about $1 to $1.50 to generate a phone call. So you can generate quite a bit of phone calls. The offer, I don't want to say the offer is 24/7 because it's not, but it's pretty wide. I believe it's from like 7 a.m. in the morning to like 7 p.m. at night, something like that. So, it's a lot, and it runs 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday. So it's a pretty good campaign to run. Running it and does well. You running dental on Facebook or on Google? On Google, but I know a lot of people run it on Facebook, especially Facebook Marketplace and Facebook groups. There's a lot of people that have teams, like offshore teams in South America and other countries, that they go onto Facebook groups posting, ads, and then also in Facebook Marketplace, which I'm not 100% sure that is in compliance with the marketplace rules, but they do it anyways. You can also run a specific ad for a dental offer on Facebook, like, if you're like teeth whitening or something like that, right?
You got some Google training for the dental stuff?
I don't have a training, but we can jump in a call and I can show you what I'm doing.
I want to see that. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have a training. Yeah, I can show you what I'm doing. I have no problem with that. Actually, I can show the landing page here. Let me pull it up. Call. Which actually Clayton designed this landing page. You remember this page, right?
Can't hear me. I said, no, I don't know. I can't see. Jesse's asking about the average payout for dental. It's varies. It's dynamic. So payouts can range from a few bucks to $25 a call.
Yeah, it's dynamic. I can't even remember the domain. I think it's called Emergency Dentist near me. Call emergency. I found it.
Emergency dentists near me.
Okay. Something like that. Anyways, I don't want to get sidetracked by that, but I'll show you what I'm doing there. And then here we have what's the average payout for emergency dental? Yeah, Clayton just went over that. It's dynamic. It's based on the zip code. So it goes from a few bucks to like 20 something. I don't see you have the emergency dental offer and ring as an option to join. It's probably set to private, so we'll make it public. So if people want to join, they can join that. Cool. So, any other questions? Anything? Any last words or I should say, any comments that you guys have? Now is a good time to just post them there so we can answer them for you. Again, Patrick, thank you so much for participating in the challenge.
Yeah, man, thanks for opening that challenge up and letting me be a part of it. It's like
awesome,
mind blowing.
we want to continue doing these challenges. So definitely keep a lookout for the next challenge. I'll make sure that we process your winning.
Woo!
Your winning coin.
You just right put my wife's name on it and just send it to her. So.
I'll make sure that Joanne put your wife's name on it and boom, send it over your way. Okay.
Yeah. I won't even see it.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's ready for pickup at your favorite mall. Yeah. Like here. Here's the envelope. Carlos, when is the next challenge? We just finished one. Give us a little bit to think about what the next challenge will be, and then we'll put it together. How much do you scale up to?
What do you mean? How much? Well, like as far as like campaigns or
I think it's as far as like ad spend per day.
ad spend per day. Let's see. I think my max was like $2,500 in a day.
Nice, very nice.
Which is kind of small potatoes for pay-per-call stuff.
Yeah, well, you gotta start. You gotta start there. Cool. Once again, thank you, man. I really enjoyed working with you. I think the whole team also enjoyed working with you, and
yeah, I'm excited to start running more offers.
Yeah, and getting you into pay-per-call. So now that's it. Official challenge winner. Boom, Pat. Congrats, buddy.
Thanks.
A pleasure for everybody else. Stay blessed. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you learned something new from this. And peace out, okay?
All right. See ya.
See you guys.